Greetings. I wanted to come in and really dig into this thing. There's been a couple of YouTubers who have been downright afraid to have a dialogue with me, but they rather be in the comment section. So I wanted to give some people the opportunity to get out of the comment section and come live and hold a discussion on this thing regarding black male YouTubers. It seem like they're constantly lying to other YouTubers, black men specifically, about how well black men are doing. It seems like a lot of, and I know this isn't popular because as a guy, I'm supposed to just agree that black men are doing well because now we can screw white chicks and Chinese chicks. So we're doing outstandingly well. I'm not against brothers, but I'm very honest in saying that the 1990 dudes and the 1980 dudes were doing far better than the 2000 brothers. The 2000 brothers are just not doing that good. But what I'm finding is that other black men want to tell lies about what's happening. And I'm not trying to be against black males. I'm just trying to tell you the truth. I'm succeeding, and a handful of others are succeeding. Most of the dudes are doing all right, but over 60% of black dudes are not doing well. I just saw a YouTuber making a video, and he has 3 holes in his shirt. 3 large holes in his shirt. Let me say that for you again, because I want you to understand what I just said. And I'm not trying to talk down to you. I'm trying to have a conversation with you and get you to understand. If anybody wants to come on live with me and hold this discussion or challenge me on anything, please feel free to drop your link in the chat, and I will definitely get you in. But this is kind of getting ridiculous. Black male YouTubers, there's 2 types of dudes. There's the dudes who are trying to make money off black entertainment. Ain't nothing wrong with that. And there are the people who are trying to fix a problem for their children. However you fall into it, you fall into it. Really funny is that a lot of us YouTubers are pretending to be about black empowerment. And a lot of us are simply not. Case in point, let's talk about the women for a minute. However you fall into it, you fall into it. Let's talk about the women for a moment. What's really funny is that a lot of us YouTubers are pretending. Sorry about that. Let me dig into it for a minute. There's a lot of women who never talk about white female supremacy over black women. Let me say it again. There's a lot of women who never talk about white female supremacy over females. Females at the job, females in the Women's March. Look online right now. Most of these female channels had nothing to say about white women attacking black female leaders of the Women's March. You know why they had nothing to say? Because they're not really serious about fighting supremacy. Their number one thing is, let's attack the males from our community, shame them, tell them that they're not protecting us, and then that's going to be the cure. Attack males. Audio people like people like CG do not really care about the community. That's just a farce. Because anytime people like CG is challenged, here come the male hyenas to protect that nonsense. And even when she goes on platforms that are anti-black, she can't hold water. She sounds less educated because she can only survive in areas where either the males are intellectually weak or the females will look past the whole double standards thing. So you really can't use that. But here's my point on black male YouTubers, and this goes to what a lot of stuff that I don't know what to say about Yvonne. I really don't. I don't know. Anyway, so here's my point. A lot of us black male YouTubers cannot get employed by other black males. Let me say it again. A lot of us black male YouTubers in the comment section cannot rely on other black males getting them great jobs. But black females can rely on black females getting them jobs. White men can rely on white men getting them jobs. Chinese men can rely on Chinese men getting them jobs. For some reason, the black male thinks as long as I can have sex, be in a high position for the sake of my kids. As long as I can have sex with whoever I want of land, I can use my white girlfriend's land. What type of thinking is that? And you literally have a bunch of black male YouTubers get up here and co-sign that nonsense. Hey, man, just keep on putting your penis out there, man. That's all that really matters. Put your penis out there, man. And, if you have a kid, just run away. Just run away, man. Just, what type of sense is that? Go over to Europe, man. The women love black men. And if you get in trouble, man, and you can't control your penis, you could just jump on the plane and leave. Well, what about your kid? See, this is what we're promoting here on Black YouTube. And this is why I said females and males, it appears like black YouTube is all about poison. Black YouTube is not talking about family. They're not talking about spirituality or their religious connections. Black YouTube is talking the mark of the beast day in and day out. Everything is the mark of the beast, day in and day out. If it ain't about sex, Black YouTube is talking about how much they don't like supremacy, but they're not doing nothing to change supremacy. All they want to do is yell and argue. Come on, man. And you know what's so sad is supremacy is not that hard to defeat. I defeat supremacy every week. But for some reason, man, it seems like we're stuck following, this whole black community is stuck following behind women. And dudes who are stepping out in the forefront. And when we do step out in the forefront, many times we simply have to get away from a lot of the people who talk what they talk, because we're looking at it like, hey, where's the evidence of what you speak? Where's the source of what you're talking about? Hold on, let me invite this dude. Like this one guy, Randy Manoit. Anytime he asks me a question, I answer the question. Then he'll come back and say I didn't answer the question. It's really sad, man. It's very, 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 very sad how a lot of these guys are stuck. I mean, seriously, over again. Ifosa, I sent you a link. Ifosa. Look in the comments section, and I sent you a link. But I wanted to have that discussion because I can't advance news. I don't see it. I see a few of us every now and then making some type of headway, but the majority of us are not. And so it begs the question, what type of moves are we as Black males trying to make for ourselves or for these kids that we have? Are you trying to get your kid a house? Are you trying to get your kid a piece of land? Well, I don't want to hear about that, Mr. Research. I just want to hear about white women. Who cares about some bleeding snow bunnies? I mean, why do you care about that more than you care about getting your son a house? Oh, man, you tripping, Mr. Research. Okay, so all you want to do is talk about dating? Oh, man, look, Jesus Christ. So if you can't walk into your job and say, hey, look, I want to make an extra $5,000. Who wouldn't want to walk in and say to their boss, I want to make an extra $5,000? And when your boss says, well, we don't have that opportunity here, then you got to look at yourself and say, look, I've been at this job 6 years and I have not progressed. I've only got 15 cents or 35 cents or 55 cents in 3 years. Why am I at this job when I really want an extra 5 G's a month? Now, trust me, when I had this philosophy, I was amazed too. I didn't realize it could work so easy. But this is how easy it work. I just decided I'm only going to make X amount of money. I'm only going to go for jobs that pay me a certain amount. If it don't pay me for a certain amount, I'm not even going to look at that job. Hey, Zoe, I can send you a link, man. Drop me your email, Zoe. I'll send you a link. Audio, I'll send you a link also. But the sad thing is, man, you got a bunch of cats, man, who's like, what are you doing with your time? If you at the job and you're not making no moves, but yet 3 months from now, I say, hey, man, we about to make a move on this property, man. I got 150, but as long as you got 50, I'll let you get 15% into the property, and every 4 months you'll get a 15% check as we rent this property. And you're not ready to move. Whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? How can you continue to say, hey, we as Black folks ain't making these moves, but then when we're ready to make a move, you not ready? That's the weird part of all this, fellas. It's that you got too many YouTubers lying. And it's like people just want to stand still. People don't want to make no valid moves. You know, and what are we supposed to do with that? Then when the younger people come in and they want to get a piece of something, they can't. They got to do everything from the dog bottom. Why do they have to do everything from the dog bottom? Because nobody's bonding together and creating some infrastructure. What are we supposed to do if all we do is sit around here and talk? It got to be greater than that. So I find like a lot of YouTubers, man, people are always quoting these YouTubers. And I say to people, man, look, if the YouTuber cannot produce nothing that they're doing, then how can we even say what they're talking about is valid? And here's what I mean by what you're doing. If you're not pulling brothers into position, What is the point in all the talk? What is the point? If a guy into position, how are we really doing anything? That's the question that be on the table. How are we doing anything and you're not pulling nobody in? Everybody got to start from the bottom. The mayonnaise people don't start from the bottom, they get pulled in. And this is what we constantly trying to get you guys to realize is that, man, 5 years from now, if you're still stuck doing the same thing, whose fault is that? That's going to be the black male collective fault. Hector, what are you lost on, Hector? You just got here. So what are you lost on? So here's the point of what I'm saying. The black male collective has to stop playing games and lying to each other. They got to stop playing these games. It can't be about, hey, look, I just want to get on here and hear about how terrible these females are and how great I am as a black dude. You ain't going to get nowhere like that. You're not going to get nowhere like that. How to use the Google Hangout. First of all, you download the Google Hangout app and then you open it. When you open it, send me your email in the chat room and I will send you a link. You go to your mail, you click that link, and then you're able to get in. Did you hear that one, Zoe? So if you do that, then you'll be able to get in. So anyway, yeah, while I wait for Zoe, yeah, it's a crazy situation, man, where we don't know what's going to happen, man, because you got so many dudes just sitting up here telling dudes just fantasy stuff. So one dude said to me, and this is what prompted this video. He said, man, this YouTuber said that technology taking over. Technology is entertaining you, man. You getting entertained right now. It has taken over. The rest of it's still trying to figure out what it's doing. It's not a confident situation. It's not like they really got to figure it out. That's where the problem is. It's not truly figured out. You know, they sat up here and created some robots. Robots haven't taken over. They sat up here and created some robot security guards. Robots are not taking over. It's kind of like just a myth. It's something that you read about, but ain't nothing that you really got a hand on. You know, I that's the best way I could say it. It's not nothing you really have a handle on. You know, the technology is so new. They don't even have safeguards. Let me just keep it real. They don't even have safeguards. It's so new. And again, that's hopefully we can, as black males, really stop this whole nonsense that we got going on, because we're not achieving, we're not making moves, and we wondering why we getting stepped over. And it's because we simply not making moves. You know, we not doing the things necessary to get where we need to get. We're pretending that we are. And I think that's the worst thing, is that we're doing a lot of pretending, a lot of fantasizing. You know, like I've never seen, you know, and again, I've been messing with white females and Asian females and Filipino females before it was even popular. I always had the courage to put conversation in a woman's ear. But Jesus Christ, man, it seems like a lot of dudes, man, they're just not advancing. They're just not advancing, man. Okay, Zoe. Okay. Let me know if you need some more help on that. Hey, Zoe, is that you?
Yeah, what up, what up?
What's up, cousin? I'm glad to finally connect with you, man. Glad to finally connect. Let me answer this question before I let you take over. So Gear ZNet said robots won't take over anytime soon. Absolutely. So why are these old YouTubers, 65 and 55 years old, talking about the technology here? Robots is taking over. Why would you even tell black men that? And it's like it's some of the most terrible, misleading information that it's just ridiculous. But Zoe, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm blessed, man.
I am glad to connect with you. Who else? I heard somebody else on here.
Hey, what's up, Q? It's King Sigma dropping in, brother.
Hey, absolutely. I'm gonna get to you in a second, King. Hold on. Let me let Zoe get some shine. Zoe, you heard a little bit of what I was saying, and just so King can hear. How did you feel about some of the stuff you heard me say, King? I mean, Zoe.
Well, let me make sure you can hear me clearly, right? Because I'm driving to work. Okay. As far as the aspect, I didn't get too much of that because I was trying to actually figure out how to use Google Hangout. This is my very first time ever doing this before, so bear with me. But as far as people being in the same position for 6 years and not elevating to anything else that's better, or trying to even elevate in a personal life, because sometimes people are in jobs where, they reach their top pay or whatever the case may be. And I understand that it's time to consider moving to a supervisor or a manager position, but even in your personal life, I always talk, even in your comment section, I talk about investing in real estate, into stocks. You could be doing so much more on your own personal time, even if you feel like you can't elevate in your job.
Hold on right there, Zoe. I'm going to let King come in right there. I'm going to come back to you, Zoe. I'm going to let King come in right there. King, how do you feel about the brother Zoe said, hey, look, he's taking his supervisor money, he's taking his overtime money, and he's buying extra property and making extra moves. Give me a piece of that, King. How do you feel about that?
Well, I feel that's where we're at right now in 2019. With inflation being what it is, with the inability to depend on the government and the shrinking corporate pie, you're going to have to figure out ways to make money while you sleep and while you work.
So why are black men not doing that more so than just the few 100,000 of us?
That's a good question. I think that a lot of black men have gotten too caught up in the entertainment of things. They've taken on a lot of female traits in the sense that, I hear a lot of guys complain about the women and the drama and the things like that they're attracted to, but a lot of the black men themselves are attracted to drama and childish things. And I think that's why they remain in a childish position, because at some point in your life, after the age of 21, you have to stop pointing at the world and your because a lot of people, they'll say, well, it was my mom's fault, it was my dad's fault, it was my family's fault, it was the community's fault, it was everyone else's fault. But after 21, no one cares anymore. And I think that's going to become more and more clear, which unfortunately it has not been clear to black men, even though They're in the lowest position in society. They're the target of every kind of injustice that one could name in America. But for some reason, they've become accustomed to it, almost like in a masochistic kind of way. You know what I mean? Like,
all right, hold on for a second. Let's go back to Zoe. Zoe, finish your thought, and we're gonna let King get some shine after that. Go ahead.
Well, no, can I, if you don't mind, I want to kind of piggyback off of what he was talking about. When he was talking about, you know, inflation and different things like that. Even with stuff like that, you have to do research on how to hedge against that. You know, you have to figure out what type of bank accounts that you can use that are going to give you 2%. You know what I'm saying? Interest and different things like that. People have to I'm always constantly researching, how can I save money? How can I not lose money? How can I shop smarter? I remember you did a video a while ago when you were in it looked like a Costco, and you were talking about buying the fish and just analyzing different prices and different things like that. I stopped shopping at Meijer and started shopping at Sam's Club. I was like, okay, so I can get, you know, way more for my money, and the chicken breasts are way bigger here. You know, so you got to be more creative in your financial spending, you know.
Absolutely. And you know what? I want to say this. A lot of times people think I'm talking down to them. I want to see more dudes up here.
Right.
I'm tired of being the only dude trying to get other dudes higher.
And see, and see, that's probably why it comes off like that, because you're so frustrated. It's like, okay, well, maybe if I speak to them like this, then maybe they'll cut everything else.
Yeah, because I'm getting to the point where it was different 6 years ago, but I'm getting to the point where I see a lot of dudes from 6 years ago have not still moved. They've grown as far as the channel is concerned, but there's nothing happening. There, you know, you only got 2 dudes making movies. You got Tariq, you got old boy Jason Black. Nobody else is really making moves. You should have the Obsidian Film Network. You should have the Cynthia G movies. You should have, but they don't want to go that level because that requires hiring other black people and being about what you say you about. Even Tommy, when he started doing his stuff, what did he do? Hire white folks. This is not seriousness about supremacy. If you're doing that, King, go ahead and get your shine, and we're gonna go back to Zoe.
Well, I'm very much at that stage where I'm telling black men that they should be focused on self-education, self-improvement, self-empowerment, and eventually, at some point, you know,
how can they do that, King, if they're talking about dating every week?
That is interesting that you say that, because I had a conversation recently with Reg the Bad Guy and GK Supreme, and they mentioned the same thing, that too often in the manosphere, brothers is so concentrated in their lower self that they believe that a red pill approach to life is strictly something that's dating wise, sex wise, and dealing with women, when that's far from the case. If you're really claiming that you're a man of a red pill lifestyle, then you are in a position where you see everything for what it really is. You've taken off the rose-colored lenses, and you're able to like create action plans and to get the results that you want in your life. If you're only focused on dating and sex acquisition, then you're definitely in your lower self. And I think that's where a lot of black men in America are comfortable, because, you know, that's not something that one has to actually work at. You don't really have to do a whole lot of work to be attracted to the opposite sex or whatnot, or to get sex. It takes a lot.
And I know. And I know the way I say it in my alpha male wisdom state of mind, I don't even value females like that. I mean, I like them. I think they're beautiful. I even think they're queens. I just don't value them like that. And I don't understand why dudes spend so much time talking about something that bleeds every month.
But you and I have talked about this before, though, Mr. Research, and one of the things is that you got to remember, you have to also take into consideration you grew up in an area where you were surrounded by attractive women. And I
no. I grew up in an era where I was around some He-Man, Thundercat type of dudes. I was around dudes who walked away from bad chicks.
And you had that too, though. So you talk, but there's two elements. So there's the element of you grew up. Okay, we got the whole Gillette thing going. There's an attack on traditional masculinity, which is the only masculinity that's going to raise strong, confident boys. And in that era that you grew up in, you had more masculine men, you had more family men around, and you also had more access to beauty as well. A lot of these dudes are suffering from many levels of dysfunction and arrested development, in the sense that they didn't grow up with a lot of the pro-masculine men that you grew up with. They didn't get a lot of direction. They didn't get a lot of basic. Well, we used to use the term common sense, and my grandmother, she would say common sense, but I haven't seen much common sense in so long. I don't even use the term, and I don't even hear it used very often. So you have a lot of people that don't have what we call common sense anymore. All they have is what they get from the media, or what they're getting from the alternative media, or the low IQ individuals in their life. And also, a lot of these men have never had access to attractive women. I think you kind of underestimate it.
Man, look, there's no such thing as attractive women. I can make a freckle-faced pimple chick look bad, look porno star bad. There's no such thing as that. An attractive woman half the time is what some dude prior to you done made this chick out to be. But Zoe, get a piece of the microphone. Tell me what you think about what King said so I can learn something.
Well, you know, I'm a piggyback off of what you just said about attractive women. I've met women who aren't conventionally attractive, but when you have a 5-minute conversation with them, you're like, oh, she's about something. And it's something in your mind that says, man, you know what? I would deal with her, because it raises points in your mind. You're like, oh, I didn't even think that she was going to have this level of conversation. You know, I didn't think she was going to have a mind right. And so that's attractive in itself. It's not always physical attractiveness. I've seen women, even at my job, I wouldn't bet them or anything. Just how every time she comes to work, her uniform is pressed. You know, you can tell she takes it to the cleaners. You know, and it's just those little things that you see feminine women do that gives them, especially in the Black community.
Yeah, I you know what? I'm gonna go back to King, but I'm gonna say this. Look, as Black males, 2020 is coming, and I predict there'll either be a war or there'll be the recession. And I'm saying it right now. Okay,
it's gonna be a recession. That's happening.
We've already
wait. Because I look at Wall Street and I keep seeing these bubbles.
Yep.
I'm looking at this housing is 3 and 4 times what it really costs. I'm next to a house that costs 4.5 times what it cost in 2009. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. And
that's not sustainable.
And we can't blame that all on inflation either.
Oh no, not at all. It's you know what it is? It's that right now approach. You got a lot of people who look at stuff, and me and King have talked about this, but I'm going to King right now. You got a lot of people who are stuck on this. Here's how much money I'm making right now, without realizing 5 years ago you made way more than that. Mm-hmm. So it's that new money approach, that thinking that you're winning, but you're not really winning. And that's what I'm getting. That's what I'm seeing. We want to welcome Man of Tomorrow, and I forgot the other brother's name. The brother with the German girl.
It's Neridian. Hey, good afternoon, Neridian and MOT. Good afternoon.
Hail to the king. Hail to
Neridian. Hey, that's what it is. How you doing, brother? Okay, so I'm gonna bring you guys up to speed on what we're talking about, and then we're gonna let King take over. We're talking about how in YouTube or just online period, a lot of dudes are saying stuff to Black men, and Black men are not growing from it. And my personal feeling, it appears Black men have fallen into this thing where they love the entertainment and they love talking about dating every week. When I was in a chat with Neridian, I made a comment on the Obsidian thing where I said, these females shouldn't even matter.
That's true.
If a dude is sitting up here with his multicultural chick he should be walking past chicks and not even hear the chatter. He should be too busy on a plane going to Vegas and then doubling back over to Minnesota. He should be too busy. I'm going to let King get the mic. We're going to let Neridian go back to Zoe and then MOT. Go ahead, King.
Okay, so I want to answer your question about where we are, but also want you to take note of, I want you to ask a question for me when I'm done, because you just brought up a point that I wanted to hear your opinion on, how you have a lot of black YouTuber males that go.
As long as we share the mic. As long as we share the mic. Go ahead.
So, in a situation where, got a lot of black YouTubers going back and forth with black women YouTube creators, but I'll just keep that one on hold. Just take a note of that. But yeah, as far as like where the economy is, you say 2020, I think that's being very generous. If you look at the numbers coming from Wall Street in October, I think October, they had October and December through that period was like one of the worst periods in like 30 years in the stock market. Yep. And so we also had General Motors laid off very silently, very quickly, like 15,000 high-paying jobs. So
after they got an Obama stimulus, go ahead.
Oh yeah, right. And that was just like the canaries in the coal mine or whatnot. So it's coming. So when you say that you see a lot of these houses are overinflated, you see people that probably don't even have a job getting car loans and things like that. We're back to that same situation that we had in 2008, 2009, and this has also been the longest upswing in the U.S. history as far as like a stock market prices being high. We've never seen a 10-year period. So a recession is coming in the next month. It could be in 6 months, but I think that people are so distracted by the Trump, Russia, or whatever other thing they got them distracted by, but that's coming. So when you talk about black men's position there, I think a lot of black men are so caught up in the, like I said, they're living in their lower self, and that dictates a lot of their actions out here. And when they can't get, so since they're so focused, go ahead.
Get to your second point so we can share the mic.
Oh, I already asked you the second point.
Oh, okay. What was the question? I lost it.
Oh, the question was, what is your thoughts on, because you said something about men going back and forth with females just individually. What do you think about black male YouTube content creators going back and forth with black female YouTube content creators?
I have said this even before it started. Black males should not invite rude women into their spaces. Black males should only invite women who fit the black male first narrative. But because people want to make money, they go back and forth with people. That's it.
Okay, MOT or Neridian, go ahead.
Yeah,
it's Neridian. Neridian, go ahead and rock out.
Yeah, what I was illustrating was I was illustrating a point. When I'm out with like my friend who's Latina or something like that, when I get it from sisters, I get it in the form of they don't keep it silent. They come straight up to us. I was out with my friend I haven't seen in like 10 years. 15 years, and she had her cousin with her, and we were laughing, joking, having dinner, and she brought her fiance, who's now her husband, who's a black man, and we were just laughing and having a good time. So what happened was, when we were having a good time and doing what we were doing, these sisters at Applebee's came at us, and I didn't think anything of it as far as like, just laughing it off and everything like that, but they made it known. They made it known to me that, yeah, although we didn't want you, why are you with these women? I'm like,
hey, here's what you should have did. You should have did the wolf thing. You should have took out your cell phone, turned on your video camera, and taped the whole thing and made some money off of their pain. Oh,
you know what? Damn, you just stole that idea right out of my head.
No, I've been saying that for years, haven't I, gentlemen?
Yeah, but I before I got the smartphone and everything like that, it was just that I was just minding my own business, having a good time, having fun with a friend. And she wasn't even my girlfriend. She was my friend I haven't seen in a while.
I think my point as an international guy, and MOT, I think you can champion on this. I'm so used to seeing and hearing that as a dude jumping in on and off planes that when I'm with a chick, I was at a event recently, white chick with a big butt. I could care less about this chick. Everybody else was amazed by this chick. I'm just here with the chick. Okay.
You know why?
But we got to get to a point as men to where we're so powerful that we ignore their hurt. Keep it moving. But go ahead, brother. Finish out.
I said, well, I'm not hurting anyone. I'm just having fun with my friend. And then we just got up and walked out. Instead of them just staying there, they followed us to where we were going. I'm like,
boy, that video camera would have been rocking and rolling, Noridian. You know, let me move on to Zoe real quick.
I got one more thing to say. I have one more thing to say. And a lot of times when I go out with my friends or something like that, or you know, women of other cultures, I start ignoring the sisters around me. I'm like, oh boy, here it comes. And what happens? We don't even go to where black areas are. We go to like I go to like 158 Manhattan where the Latinas are and stuff like that. Rock out with them, and after that, that's it.
Yeah. So how did you feel about what Noridian and King said?
Well, as far as Noridian, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Rock out.
Okay,
I can hear all that static too, but go ahead, rock out.
Oh my!
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
I think it's working out pretty bad.
Keep it moving. Don't matter.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Zoe, keep it moving. You good?
Okay.
Rock out.
Okay.
Yeah,
so as far as Noridian was talking about, I mean, I'm actually in a relationship with a white girl, but it's I don't know. It's weird. I don't too much pay attention to the negativity. And that's because my goal is so much further than just her. And I have to tell her,
wait a minute. I'm sorry. Please say it to the class one more time, Zoe.
No, I'm just saying my goal is bigger than her, you know, and I have to explain to her. I tell her on a regular basis, I say, hey, you know, this is what my goals are. You know, if you're not with it, you know, then my goals are going to be the same regardless, you know.
Hold on. I'm sorry, Zoe. I'm sorry. I got to stop. Gentlemen, listen to what my man is saying. And Zoe, we're going to have to do a one-on-one. Listen to what my man is saying. He cares about this nice-looking white chick so less that his goals is his real wife. He cares about this chick so less that he said, hey, I want you to come on this ride with me, but let me put some game in your ear now.
5 for 1 mile.
Those goals ain't going nowhere.
No,
why can't we as black men do that, Zoe?
You know what? You have to act, and you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. Hold on. Let me hang up from this call. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, rock out.
Okay. You have to figure out where you want to be in the next 20, 30 years. I'm 28 years old. If you're not figuring out what you want to be, how much money you want to have, what type of lifestyle you want to have, you can't really plan a level of execution to get there. You know, I know how much money you want to get.
So how dare you talk about that? Once you get a white chick, you've won. You don't need to be trying to advance yourself and get nothing else, because the white vagina is the epitome of God. And that's all we need as black men, according to some black male YouTubers. Go ahead and finish, because I want to invite Ivan in. Go ahead.
Well, let me say this in case I don't get a turn to come back around, because I'm getting off the expressway.
Okay.
My goal isn't being with white women. My goal is to eventually get into commercial real estate and have $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 checks coming in. That way I can buy more real estate, and I can look at it and say, hey, look, son, this is what you need to be focusing on, so you can leave this to your son. Because if I'm 28 and I'm still working my plan, my son might not be here until I'm 35. So I might not see my grandson. I want you to take this level of game and pass it to my grandson. And I want it to continue to keep going down, you know,
absolutely,
through generations. And I want them to be able to have properties, stocks, different things like that. And the reason why I say commercial real estate over just regular real estate is it's a better opportunity. Once you get one building paid off, you can really leverage that in a bunch of buildings.
Look, you're gonna be up here with me and MOT in a minute, man, and I'm proud of you. No knock on nobody, but that's the idea, man. Work on your goal and your dream. Ivan, how are you, sir? but I got to go to MOT. He's been patient. MOT, what do you think about what Neridian and King said? What are your thoughts, MOT, Mr. Millionaire?
My thoughts is that we as black men for far too long have been letting the temporary access to a woman's body kind of take control of our whole being. Like we just been reduced to nothing but just bucks out here. And a lot of these guys out here who are, out here just to make a buck, they say a whole bunch of wildfire crazy shit. Like since the Me Too movement, like none of these dudes has really changed their message. So it's like, man, these dudes just trying to get people in a lot of trouble. When I was on O'Shea's show, last night, I was just pretty much, because I don't even address women at all, period. I don't try to have a conversation with them because look, if you have all the choices in society and you still end up not with the correct choice, what the hell I look like giving you more chances? At some point, I got to be like, you know what? Time to wolf away. I'm on my other stuff here. I mean, I'm trying to buy up half of cities and stuff.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't have time to be trying to drag along somebody who is not only not part of my plan, but not really part of my future.
Man, look, I got new employees to hire. I got a web community I'm trying to invest in. I got all type of stuff going on. And the last thing I'm concerned about is the chick that's in my bed with her legs spread open. So if I'm not concerned about her, I darn sure ain't concerned about no chick on the street. Now, I'm only saying that because we as black men got to get more powerful. We got to get in a position to where we can hold these strong conversations. I can take King on a stage with white folks and he don't get laughed at. I can take Neridian on the stage with white folks and he don't get laughed at. I could take Zoe on the stage, but the problem is other YouTubers and other commenters cannot get on stage and defeat white supremacy. They're just going to create more white supremacists with some of their talking points. Go ahead and finish what you're saying so we can get Ivan in.
It's just that the end of the day, a white supremacist's best friend is an unproductive black man.
Man. Ooh. Man. Wow.
The biggest.
Mr. McCoy, how are you, sir? Ivan?
Yeah, I'm good. I can't complain. I just hopped in the middle of the conversation. How y'all doing, fellas?
Okay. Let me bring you up to speed by saying this. It appears that online there's a lot of, and you and I have had personal conversations, but I always say, if it's been 5 years, 5 months, and you find yourself in the same place, you're not advancing. Whose problem is that? Now, sometimes you may not advance financially, but you have advanced in buying more land or your court case, or you've gotten this situation over here handled. You're doing some type of advancement. Why is it that online we as black men seem like we want to talk about dating every week, Ivan?
Because we don't have no I would say because we don't have any. It's almost like what Big Mama would say. It's like no home training to want more. It goes back to the boy that grows up in the ghetto. That's all he know is the ghetto.
Well, I gotta crack a joke. I was raised around pimps, so I just don't care. I don't value females like that. I love, and I think females need to be honored and respected, but I just really don't care. If we had a zombie attack tomorrow and the chick fell, I wouldn't even notice. I'd be too busy saving myself. But go ahead, Ivan. Go ahead, Ivan.
That's how you have to think.
Ivan, you finished? Sorry about that, Ivan. Sorry to cut you off, Ivan. King, go ahead and fill in. How do you feel about everything that was said?
I think that I think what he was saying about just being on your purpose. That's what I think 2019 should be about for all men in America, because there is an attack on masculinity.
Because we can't, because this month alone we're going to have 50 videos on women. The Black Men Collective are going to make 50 videos it's 9-10 days before this month is over with, and I guarantee we're going to get at least, I won't say 50, we're going to get at least 25 videos about females or dating.
Well, I think that you're underestimating that whole Jerry Springer reality TV as it's a hot market. World Star Hip Hop makes a gold mint on selling that type of content because there's a big audience for it. And I know that you're frustrated, but you're swimming in a smaller, lake or whatnot. And
hey, I'm frustrated because when the owner of World Star Hip Hop died, wasn't no black millennials rich enough to buy the stuff from the family and keep it in black hands. I'm mad that Jewish dudes came in and took World Star Hip Hop from black people, and black people still work there proudly. But go ahead and finish your point.
I mean, that's a great point. I was on a panel where we talked about this idea that, if one generation and the next generation even if someone does create a product that's hot, since there's not a big enough class of individuals that you're referring to, those platforms end up getting bought out by, whites and Jews, and the very people who do not have the better interest in creating a positive black image. And that's a real issue. And if people would listen to guys like yourself and MOT who are pushing, self-improvement and self-empowerment, that's what I'm all about, then we would be in a better place. But I'm not, maybe I'm just like, I don't really care as much as I used to. I'm more focused on myself. Because
you know why? Because you're realizing that you're going to be old one day, and you're going to be in our position, and these young motherfuckers going to be coming up like, well, damn, King, what have you built for us?
Oh, yeah, you did.
Like, wait, and King going to be like, fuck you, little nigga.
Well, yeah, you and I had that situation where you made that comment, and it's truthful, and I don't want to be in that position. So my whole thing is that I'm not looking to create like a big net situation. I'm not waiting for another man to help me do anything. I'm just gonna do what I have to do, follow my purpose, get as much money as I can, try to have a positive impact. And from my experience with women, they fall into the frame naturally. I don't have to do anything in particular for women to want to get at me. As long as I'm doing what I got to do.
The woman in the world costs $200. Should be in your bed tonight. Nuridian, what is your thoughts on everything you've heard, sir? And then we're going to go back to Zoe.
Well, my thoughts are, when you improve yourself, you focus on, like, let's say, because I'm focusing on being a truck driver. So I can't have a lot of chicks, derail me from that. And also, I'm getting my armed security license so I could go with my friend who's a defense contractor. So I can't really have these chicks. I mean, banging them is one thing, crush them out, because you're human. But I can't have them, crushing out my dreams and stuff like that, because I can't have the whole thing being derailed. I can't afford it right now.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a hard question. Yeah. So let's say you do this, because MOT is a millionaire at the trucking game. He has a trucking company. So let's say you do this, and 5 years later you happen to check into YouTube or any online service, and you find 400 black men still in the same position as you left them last time, which has been my experience. What is your feeling if that happens? Now that you've achieved your trucking, you got this money, you making moves, and you still see us as black dudes not moving. What is your thought then?
I would feel like, hey, you guys made your choices. Everybody, every black man, every black woman, every black person have made a choice. If they make that choice to stay there, hey, I can't be mad at you. The best thing I can do is just wish you luck, and I got to keep it moving.
Okay. Give me your other thoughts before we go to Zoe.
Oh, my other thoughts are basically, once I achieve my goal, then I may not settle down, but I may, take it slow and take it easy, because once, as men, when we reach a certain goal in our lives, we kind of tend to slow it down. I mean, I don't want to have any kids right now, because I realize that, with all the stuff that's going on with child support and alimony and stuff like that, because I've been through the alimony system. that maybe it's not for me. Maybe it's not for me. Maybe I don't want it.
It's better
But
for you to adopt a kid or have a surrogate kid. Surrogate kid only costs 10 to 30 G's. You can have a surrogate kid.
I'm not saying it'd be funny or mean, but maybe I might want to adopt a pet or something like that. You know, because if I can't take care of a kid, you know, if I can't take care of a pet, then what am I doing with a child? That's what I'm looking at.
Because I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I'm probably gonna drop 30 grand to have a surrogate son. I have no interest in going the other way. If I do connect with a chick and I get married, she gonna have to accept me and my boy, and I might even adopt some boys. But I'm making sure my bubble is in such a wolf way that no matter which way she wants to go, I'm gonna be all right.
Yeah.
And if she follows my lead, I'll make sure she protected. I'll make sure she feel like, because I like romance. I'm not hard on women.
No.
But at the same time, gentlemen, lady, you don't like what's happening? Okay, my boys are here. You already signed this prenup. I wish you the best of luck. And that's how it is. Yeah. Let me go back to Zoe. Zoe, you heard a couple of things that we were talking about, man. Hopefully this stuff helps some of these brothers not be so mad at women. What are your thoughts on what you heard? Educate me, Zoe.
I want guys to stop being angry with women too, but they have to find, like I said earlier, they have to find some type of purpose in their own life and stop worrying about women. You have to find a job where it works for you. And I'll use myself as an example.
No. The white man is supposed to give me a prime job.
Now you got to get out here and look for them. They there though.
No.
You got to get out here and look for them. And it's good. And you know what? I'm working a job right now. I've had people say, "Man, is the job hiring?" Yes, they hiring. And and they'll say, "Man, but I got to stop smoking weed, don't I?" And it's like, yeah.
Wait a minute. He asked the question.
Yeah, that's serious. That's serious, and it's sad. Man. It's sad, period. And I'm just like, man, these dudes. And I've never been in that situation where, even when I was working minimum wage jobs, where I let something like smoking weed or drinking hold me back from being able to get to the next level.
Hold on 1 second, Zoe. Go ahead, Neridian.
Well, I was gonna say this. I mean, if they like smoking weed so much, weed is getting ready to be legalized anyway. So instead of just smoking, wait. Instead of just smoking,
that's false. No, that's state by state. It depends on what state.
So you know what you do? Go to a state that you like, that
that requires money and working overtime. That's too much work for that guy.
Actually, the nation of Canada they were one of the first large actually legalized recreational marijuana for the whole nation.
No, I got that. I got that, Zoe. What I'm saying to Neridian is the mindset of the guy who wants that take it easy 50-50 approach. He don't want to do the things necessary that Neridian was talking about to change his world.
Those men have to be left behind. Those men have to be left behind at this point.
Yeah. The smart ones, the smart guys who want to take that risk, you know what they do? They go to a state where they can get the licenses.
I had a dude tell me last month that rent is too expensive. Yet he gets on the internet every week and talk about black women are apes.
What I'm gonna say is instead of actually owning a building,
I remember the janitorial YouTube creator. That was crazy as hell.
Hold on. Let him finish so we can go back to Zoe. Go ahead.
What I was gonna say is instead of you just doing that, buy like a little warehouse and sell bongs. That you could do that. You can open up your own line.
Oh, Neridian, you must not have been hanging around some of these black dudes long enough. Some of these black dudes online cannot even fathom what you just said. Do you understand? Dudes don't even like working overtime at their job to get access to paying the rent for a building, let alone But hold on, Neridian. We all cut Zoe off. Zoe, go ahead and finish the thing, and I'm going to go to Ivan.
Let me finish up because I'm actually about to clock in. The only reason
you about to go make some money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
look, man.
Man, how dare you, man? What is this, man? Go ahead.
And speaking of that, last week with the day off, I put in 70 hours. The week before that, I put in 80 hours. This week, I'm about to put in 80 hours. So you
There
have
you
to do
go.
whatever it takes to get to your dreams. You know, and I tell people, they say, "What are you putting in all this work for?" I'm getting out of debt so I can build an emergency fund, so I can buy some property. So that way, when I come to a bank and I say, "Hey, look, this is what I'm trying to do," they say, "Oh, you got great credit. Oh, you have no debt. Oh, you make six figures. Okay, we'll give you whatever you want." You know what I'm saying? And as far
Right.
as the reason why I'm so big on real estate, first for myself, I can't speak for other people, but as far as myself, I see people struggling, and I see a lot of people homeless. And that's why I'm so big on commercial property, because you have that leniency to say, "Hey, look, you know, even if my building is 85% occupied, I can put somebody in here and say, 'Hey, look, don't worry about paying any rent. I got 50 units. You can live in one rent free until you get back on your feet.'" I'm able to help and
Right.
assist people, you know, with their living situation, which is the biggest thing for me. Because if you don't have a home, you know what I'm saying, you're not even thinking about working. You're thinking about surviving, you know.
Right. True
So,
that. True that.
let me get ready to go. I'm finna tap in.
All right, I appreciate you, Zoe. We're gonna have to do a one-on-one about just getting at this money, man.
Oh,
We we're gonna have to do something so that we can let the fans know that it is possible to go from the hood to all good.
yep,
Cause
yep.
you know. All right, Zoe, catch you on the next one, bro.
All right. So,
And MOT, you've been patient, sir. We're gonna start wrapping down. What are your thoughts, MOT, on what we've been discussing? Because you've seen what I've seen, MOT.
All right. So speaking of what that guy just said, I'm in Mariana, Florida right now. You know, you think that a hurricane just came here and all that stuff. I'm actually buying property in like Memphis, in
How
the middle
dare
of
you?
nowhere.
How dare you? Don't you know that black male YouTubers are supposed to be talking about how great it is to be between the white woman's legs?
Oh, that's great. Yeah, man. But yep. So what I do is I got these 5 guys. I got them trained on how to drive trucks, and they all get to live in this house rent free. So they all went from making like $7 or $8 an hour. They're all making like 50 grand a year. They ain't never seen. And I'm like, look, man, you gotta take these classes. You gotta do the right thing with this shit, and do not go out there and get nobody. Oh, what the hell is that? Yeah,
No, go ahead.
you know, don't go out there and get nobody pregnant. Don't go bringing these single mothers into your life unless they are a 1,000% benefit to you. And you just sit out here, chill, stack your money, and we could talk about what to do with it. Dude, it's so
Absolutely.
easy to do that in this country. And I'm like, man, how
Man,
come I
man,
wasn't doing this before?
MOT, when I found out how to dominate supremacy, I was amazed I didn't see it that whole time. I was
Yes, it
actually
was right in front of your face.
Yeah, it's right in front of your face. Matter of fact, as we go to King, I wanted to say this to you, MOT. Here's the thing that I realized. White people just want black people to operate as a family. That's all white people want. White people want black people to operate as a two-parent family so they can do business with them. Because the decent and nice white people have a problem with dealing with people who do not come from two-parent families. I know it sounds fucked up, but that is really what a lot of white people got a problem with. They don't like dealing with people who don't have traditions and culture. King, as we start to wrap down, what are your thoughts on what MOT said?
I think just as regarding like, you know, two-parent households and dealing with people that are in stable situation, he was referring to his employees and how he put them on a certain course to be successful. Well, I mean, that's just having the certain kind of outlook on life. You mentioned coming from two-parent households. We don't need to go into deep details about that, but
so why are we on YouTube not talking about that like the Chinese people are? Why are we talking about I mean, we talk about some of the crazy stuff.
I think it's the 80-20 rule. I think that often 80% of people are interested in the trivial, 20% are interested in the topics that you're referring to. So as far as a fatherless home thing, the reason why a lot of those white people that are willing to deal with non-whites, the data shows them that the people that come out of these households that are fatherless homes, they tend to be imbalanced, dysfunctional, criminal, violent, without moral values and things. That's not like a diss towards any group. It's just a fact of the data that they have. The psychologists, the criminal justice system, the educational system has already shown them that in general.
Okay. To your point, last night I caught a black guy with a backpack riding a bicycle, stop 3 houses up the street and break in my neighbor's car. Okay. I sat there and watched this dude, King. Neridian, we coming to you. I sat in here and watched this dude, King. And 2 millennials went past my house. And when he saw them coming his way, he ducked. The millennials didn't see nothing. That's how oblivious they was to everything that was going on around them. They went on in the house. He went back and started doing what he doing. The only reason I saw him because I have a bush. And I was looking behind the bush, and I called 911 and kept them on the phone until 911 arrived. When the cop came, his millennial ass went right past the dude. I told 911, your guy just went past and made a left. He came back around and got the dude. When he came back around, the dude disengaged from the car and started walking away, right? Like he was looking on his phone. And I pointed, I said, that's him right there. He said, what I do? The black dude. What I do? Officer arrested him. The first thing he said is, man, don't do this to me. Where are we as black dudes? You got McDonald's jobs out here that'll pay you assistant manager 3 G's a month, if not 4 G's. What are we doing?
Well, I think that you're talking about people who have been coddled and they've been taught to look at themselves as victims.
Not coddled. People who are watching us online and YouTube and thinking it's okay to kick it. But go ahead.
Well, as far as the YouTube thing, man, like I said, I think that most people at this point, from being in the black manosphere, I've been here almost a year now. I had to step away from it. I don't really do too much panels anymore.
It's not no power.
I don't consume a lot of manosphere content at this point, because a lot of it's, like you said, it's it's men that are in their lower nature, and then the other part of it is just entertainment. The good part of it is that I do feel that the panels and the space does offer men a chance to grieve and to vent and things of that nature. But at some point, you have to come out of these rage type stages and then engage in the real world and engage other women, because I hear guys complain about American black women all the time. And for me, it's like, at what point do you move on to other women? If you're having so little success with American black women and they're not, you're not their cup of tea and they're not your cup of tea, why am I going to spend hours and hours and days and months and months? I
have seen black dudes go out there to visit Philco.
I don't even know what it is.
Philco is a guy I've been around since 07.
Philco versus the world? Yeah.
I've seen white guys. But wait a minute, Iridia. I've seen black dudes go out to visit Philco and complain about the white chicks are not on them.
Wow.
I want y'all to absorb that. Serious.
I think men that are not dealt with that.
Wait, I got one more. I've seen black dudes go visit Anwar, who is the African guy that travels in Latin countries, and steal $12,000 from the guy.
Oh shit!
Oh wow!
YouTubers.
What?
YouTubers. Now I'm saying this because I want you guys to realize in your YouTube growth that a lot of this black male talk is bullshit.
I agree with that. I do agree with you, and I think it's mostly entertainment. I think it's guys that are looking to get a quick come up as quickly as they can before it dries up. But for me, I really have come into these spaces and enjoyed conversations with the men like yourself on the panel. I try to take the positives, and I'm able to like filter the negative very easily. But when you say things like that, I'm not surprised at all. And that's why I said, as a class, I don't think that the mass majority of black men are going to build anything. Because
and that's my point. Let's move to a Noridian. What are your thoughts, man? And then we're going to start closing out with MOT. What are your thoughts, Noridian, on everything we just said?
Well, I think that, you know, a lot of black men, they'll build things individually for themselves. They'll build individually like their own businesses, like
But if you only do it individually and you run into a problem, you have no infrastructure in your circle. But go ahead.
No problem. But that's the problem, Mr. Researcher, that you're not. You just said it. If you're not, see, it's a two-part thing. Either you build as an individual today as things are, or you sit around and wait 2-3 generations for the Black American families to get their shit in order. If you're not gonna, right now, you have 80% of Black children by 2022 or so that will be born to single mothers. So you're not gonna, you have no choice but to stand on your own and to assimilate yourself into cultures that align with your values. So you can't say to the individual, well, this isn't gonna work because you can't.
But I can say this. But I can say this, just like you said, start now, and be a family unto yourself and build that infrastructure around you.
That's what you do.
Because the reality is, and we stepped on Noridian, I'm sorry, but the reality is, while you are absolutely right, and while Noridian is absolutely right, I say this in the spirit of helping. You have to have an infrastructure of friends and people that can tolerate your bullshit. One time I got stopped for a trumped up license plate issue. I had to be at work the next day. My friend put up his house to get me bailed out. See this, but he used my money. He got my credit card and used my money. Oh, Lady Mocha's here. But he got his credit card and used my money. But the point is, he put his house up. If Black men do not work on having infrastructure within their own circle, all they're doing is talking when a problem comes. They're going to blame the white man. They're going to blame their chick. They're going to blame their son. But Lady Mocha, how you doing? We're going to get to you. But Noridian, I'm sorry to step on you. Go ahead and finish your thoughts.
Don't worry about it. What I'm saying is that a lot of like the guys who are building things for themselves, like the other guy who was on as a real estate mogul, as far as like him buying commercial properties. See, he's building an infrastructure so that way when things collapse, he has something to fall back on. And that's what you're preaching is that basically you got to have something to fall back on if something happens. Like with me, for example, I have 2 skills. So let's say if I don't want to drive.
Wait. How dare you have 2 skills?
Well, why not?
You know that you're supposed to be on YouTube just talking about white women? You're not supposed to have no skills.
Well,
go ahead, Noridian. I'm just joking.
Listen, if I don't have the skills, who's gonna get them for me? So I have to go out.
The white woman that you're living with, she gonna get it for you. That's the Black man thinking. But go ahead, man.
No. I mean, a lot of times you're a man. You have to go out and think for yourself. You can't rely on other people. You can't rely on the white system or anything like that or the government. And to the government's point, I have to actually give them a point or two, because if it wasn't for the government, I couldn't have a commercial driver's license. I had to study and prove to them and take a road test in order to do that. And not only that, you have to build yourself up while you're doing that. So yeah.
I don't know about that, dog. You got to study. I don't know about that.
Oh yeah. If you took a look, just go to your DMV and just say, hey, listen, let me get the commercial driver's manual and see. And the book is like a Bible on commercial driving. You wouldn't want to study, but I studied because I wanted to make something. I wanted to make something happen for me.
I started to do that myself. Let's just welcome Lady Mocha because we're short on time.
Yeah,
let's welcome Lady Mocha. I do not applaud many females on YouTube, as you know. There's probably like 10 of them. But I do applaud women who treat men in a fair critique. Okay. Yeah. And don't switcheroo when it's convenient. This is Lady Mocha, Cafe de Paris. Hello, welcome.
Hello, how's everybody doing? I'm honored to be here. Thank you.
What up?
No doubt. What we are talking about is, which is not something you maybe experience a lot of, but we're talking about, and I know you and I were going to do a one-on-one. We never got a chance, so
Right.
this is a good segue. Black male YouTubers still not advancing. Are they looking to be lied to, Lady Mocha?
I think the problem is the reason why a lot of male YouTubers are not progressing as much as they should. They are still, I think a lot of them are still mentally enslaved with their own interpersonal pains that they haven't dealt with. Sometimes, as Black people, men and women, we have the tendency to hold our own selves back based on our own personal prejudices and our own negative experiences with one another. And I think sometimes certain experiences you go through, it keeps you stagnant mentally. It keeps you from progressing. If you've had a lot of negative experiences with Black women, you will limit yourself from wanting to work with Black women. You will limit yourself from wanting to progress with Black women.
Okay,
Sure.
wait, Miss Lowe. So if that's the case, using that, and I'm saying this in a gotcha question type of way. If that's the case, then when that same Black man has issue with white women, why is he not expressing that pain?
Absolutely, because then it speaks signals to him that he has a problem. Not only you can't connect with Black women, but you can't connect with white women. Now, if I have to come back and change my tone, when all this time I've been preaching, I have a problem with Black men, and I get with a white man, and I have a problem with a white man, I'm not going to address that because now that speaks volumes that there's a problem with me.
You know what? I'm glad you said that, and I want to dig into this real quick. I've been on YouTube since 2007. There's been people who will come and say, let's just talk about swirlers real quick. And gentlemen, I'm going to let you in a minute after Mocha says her thing. But there's been things where I said to swirlers are different from IR daters. IR daters, they date people and they real quiet about it. But swirlers have to put down Black people. It's kind of like they have to do it. It's like they have nothing positive to say about how great it is to be over in this other community. So my question is, why is it that in your thoughts as a lady, if a woman is over here succeeding in her marriage, okay, and I heard you talk about being a married person, yes, why would she need to reach back to talk about the relationships that were not successful? What would be the need for that if you're happy with a white guy?
Because again, she still is, what has happened is bitter has taken cancer in her mentality. And basically what it is, and a lot of, I can't speak for all Black women. If it doesn't apply, you don't have to reply. But what happens is a lot of sisters will have the tendency to move on and still be scorned. Meaning that even though I'm with another man of another race, because where I really wanted to be, it didn't work. Because think about it. If I really didn't want to be there, I have no need to address it. I have no need to talk about it no more. I have no need to even reminisce about it. Because the truth of the matter is, I really wanted to be with a Black man. I failed at being with one. Okay? So now I don't feel safe. So instead of me taking accountability and reflecting and looking at myself and seeing what I could have done different, I'm just going to go to the other side of the team.
Hold on, Lady Mocha, because I think you're going to find this interesting. Gentlemen, let's go down the row, and however you feel is how you feel. We'll start with MOT, Neridian, and then King. Make these answers short because I want to see if Lady Mocha can observe something in this male collective. MOT, when a Black guy talks about how much he hates Black women and he's with a Asian chick, in your thought process as a well-traveled person, MOT, why would a dude have a need to do that?
Well, they have a need to do it because they found some success, not exactly the whole total of success. So I mean, but what they don't understand is it's kind of like not rolling double 3 times in a row for Monopoly. So you might be on like Mediterranean Avenue, but you ain't nowhere near the end of the process where it goes to collect the so-called $200. So while they're not at the starting point, they are further than the starting point. So they think that the further than the starting point in their quote unquote growth is somehow a victory for them when they don't know where this relationship is going or even why the person is even there.
Noridian, let me ask you a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Noridian, you said that you when you're out with your lady and you just chilling, you get attacked or you've been overly addressed by black women for being with the woman that you've been with, even more so to where they would say comments like, "We didn't want you, but why'd you have to get that type of comment?" What do you think about the people who do that? What do you think about their lives away from you, that they have to focus on you so much?
I think they just want the first right of refusal. But when I keep it moving, when I keep it moving, it gets them more upset because how dare you ignore me when I'm talking to you? I'm like, well, that's what they're thinking in their minds. Like, you know, even though I didn't want you, I still wanted to refuse you. So let me talk down to you, let me do this and that and the third to you. But then when they see me having fun and just moving on and you know, I have to say this. My ex-wife, who is black, she is still mad at this avatar that she sees on Facebook. And it's one of my Facebook pages. She's still upset. She says, I still feel some type of way with you going out with a white woman. I'm like, listen, you got your husband. Be happy. That's what I told her. I told her, just go on, be happy.
Wait. Hold on. She has a husband and still focused on what you doing?
Yeah.
That's the acrimony.
She has 2 kids. She's 2 kids, remarried.
Wow.
And then remarried again.
This is why I said I think Lady Mocha's going to learn something. But go ahead and finish.
Yeah. So when from my point of view, I don't be like, well, you got that white guy, and I feel some type of way. I'm like, nah, you got what you got. You're happy. I'm happy for you. If I don't ask anything, if you like it, I love it. That's it. But when they come at me, when I'm
hold on. Let's move to King. King, let me ask you this question, and I've said this on my videos before. I think relationships are not about love. A lot of these people go into it thinking, I think I can control this other person better than I can control the person I went out with last night. The person I went out with last night, I might actually have to fall in love with them. I might actually have to do some work. But this person over here, I can control. Before we go back to Lady Mocha, let me ask you, King, do you disagree that a lot of people hook up based on who they feel they can control better?
I think there are a lot of people that do that, but I think in general, people have various reasons why they get together. I would say that some people get together for financial reasons, others for
control, right? Ain't that control?
It doesn't have to necessarily be control. It could actually be to they feel like if they add their finance to another person's finance, they might be able to build something. Some get together for sexual gratification, others for spiritual gratification. So I can't really say that I can say it's always control, but I do know that there are a lot of people that have that kind of narcissistic outlook on life. And those are the type of people that you want to be on the lookout for to avoid at all costs. But we do have a culture that doesn't try to like get people into their higher self. We have a culture that pimps the public into consuming by keeping them in their lower self, by keeping them in a low self-esteem state, so that they're always trying to search for a completion of who they should be themselves. You already have the ability to complete yourself. Everything else.
Wait. That's too deep. King, how old are you? That's too deep.
I'm 32.
You need to go back to that millennial thinking. Go back to that millennial thinking. Go back to that. I just want to bust a nut thinking. Don't do all that logical stuff. That's too logical for these people.
No, they need to hear it. They need to hear it as well.
Lady Mocha, what do you think of everything that you've heard thus far before we close out?
Well, honestly, when I heard gentleman on the panel say that his ex-wife, even though if I'm not mistaken, he's with a woman of another race, and how she's in her feelings. Still, believe it or not, that's not even a white woman thing. That's a bitter woman thing. Okay, because my husband's ex-wife is black, and I'm a black woman, and she can't stand me. Okay, because I've progressed with her husband, and I've been with her ex-husband, and I've been able to make him a better man compared to what she's been able to do. So when it comes to a woman, automatically when there's some type of bitterness, it don't matter if she would have been black, even if you would have got it with a black woman,
His wife
the
was black.
results would have been the same.
She was
Huh?
black.
His wife.
She was
Oh,
black.
okay, right. That's what I'm saying. So the current wife he with is another race, right? Am I correct?
He's a bachelor right now.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
a bachelor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Guys,
Oh,
She didn't like. She didn't like the picture he had. He didn't like. She didn't like the avatar picture that he had.
oh, okay. Got you. Got you. But you know what? Even if it would have been a black woman, she still would have had a problem with it. Because the whole bottom line is, well, once a woman, again, once we fall prey to bitterness, it don't matter. It don't matter if she would have been black. It don't matter if she would have been Puerto Rican. She would have gotten her feelings anyway. The problem with the majority of us as sisters, a lot of us are already feeling personally defeated. So when we start failing, when it's factors outside of us that we fail in, which is relationships, marriages, or whatever the case is, other things outside of us that we try to succeed in and we don't succeed, and we feel a sense of failure, that is when bitterness starts to cement itself
You know
into
what?
us.
You know what, Lady Mocha? I make this comment on my page for the guys. I have another page for the women, which is Ask a Classy Black Man. But for the guys, this wolf level of thinking, what it's about is that I try to teach guys how not to be mad at females, how to focus on themselves. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I'll be right back. I'll get back on the panel for a second. I got to help out.
Okay. All right, no problem. So what this wolf thing, Lady Mocha, is I try to teach dude, don't waste time with this anger. Focus on enhancing yourself. And when you pick a chick, let her know how you operate in your program. But what I find is that a lot of people tend to just be upset because it's easier. So to the point that you're making right now, here's what I say about women. I think guys, black men, going back to the Chicken George Roots episode, I think guys are engineered to be clowns, powerless clowns. And you have to unlearn that as a dude. You have to unlearn boogalooing and doing the easy stuff and focusing on how big your penis is. You got to unlearn that behavior.
Now, do you find that that's specific to the U.S.? Do you find that that's specific to your experience here in the U.S. or overseas as well?
Not overseas, no.
So it's a product of this culture here in America.
Yeah, it's a product of America only.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because Canada's not like that. Alaska's not like that. Hawaii's not like that. The only thing that comes close to this experience is Germany. Because and this is what I'm kind of getting off the subject, but this is what I get into it with Mad Bus Driver about. All those women from the Celtic and Gaul areas, Iceland, Germania, all that, they used to sleep with animals.
Now, I brought that point up because I remember you doing a video on, and I asked Super Triz about that because he's moving to Germany this summer, and they were really refuting that hard.
No, matter of fact, I'll try to do a video later today to show a lot of the areas just outlawed bestiality recently, like within the past 5-7 years. And a lot. Matter of fact, let me ask you a question, King, because Lady Mocha will find this interesting. King, can you answer this question? If what I'm saying is not true, why do they make a lot of horse molded dildos in Europe?
Because that's part of their cultural experience.
There you go. So that's just the proof that what I'm saying is true, because it's a normality for them.
If bestiality wasn't a thing among certain human groups, then they would not have to outlaw it.
That's my point.
Because there are people that engage in that kind of behavior.
That's my point. I did a paper in college about the first British zoophilia porn star, a 19-year-old girl who had a terrible life. She used to suck on her puppy's penis and just grew up to do it as a regular thing. But I think what happens with black men is when you tell them the truth, which is my point of this particular video.
Yeah.
When you tell them the truth, it isn't sexy. It doesn't fit their fantasy. And they think, well, you're trying to shame us, or you're trying to keep us from this pot of gold. No, I want you to put your face in her booty hole. Well, I want you to understand where it's been.
I think that fits into your whole connect. That we can just segue that to this whole swirler thing. It's all connected, because what you're saying is that as much as there may be good, there's also bad. And I know with a lot of American black women, they are discovering, as they're being kicked out of these white networks where they were mistreated, where they voluntarily signed up to be ghetto gagged and humiliation sex, plantation sex, or whatever. And they thought it was going to be like this big pot of gold that you mentioned at the end of the rainbow. But what they found out, that there's definitely a dark side to certain cultures. And that's in every culture.
Same thing with the black dudes. Some black dudes, like Tim Duncan, you swore up and down this chick was going to be by your side. But after she done sucked you off and had your kids, she saw this one opportunity where she can have her lawyer get you now.
I have suspicions. I have persistence for any man or woman.
Wait. And what's so funny is the black guy sometimes is oblivious to the fact that this was her game plan the whole time.
Right.
Well, they become a blank canvas for you. So I'm suspicious of any man or woman who pedestalizes any race or ethnic group above themselves, because there are no superhumans out here.
That's my point.
Exactly. The grass is never green on.
There's human beings out here. There's human beings.
I don't care who people bond with. I don't care if they bond with animals. Be about what you about. But don't mix and match when it's convenient. And for our people, especially online, don't sit and tell lies and then get people hurt and killed. You go over to some of these countries, you spray paint on the wall. You might find yourself doing 10 years.
Yeah, there was a black man.
Very true.
There was a black man killed in Greece over something like that. And I remember a story.
And the guys recently got off. No jail time.
There was another story about an American black woman that went to Africa, and she was raised in this culture over here, and she got smart with one of the guys over there who was like a politician, slapped the fuck out of her, taste out of her mouth in front of everybody. Nothing she could do about it.
It's like to your point, and I just want to move this along though. But to your point is that we in the black male community, outside of female, in order for us to be powerful individually, we have to get out of this fantasy that we're winning. Because busting the nut is not winning. Pulling another black man into your job, that's winning. Helping your son get his first house at 15, that's winning. Getting your son a basic bank account and showing him how to do it in checking, that's winning. But what happens is, and my feeling about YouTube or just online period, you got too many dudes living fantasy. And then when it's time to get out here and really fight supremacy, you're going to be just like that dude who the cops arrested. Man, why are you doing this to me? Man, Q, help me out. Dude, I'm not going to risk my money and my reputation to help you when your whole thing was like, man, fuck that. I'm only thinking about myself.
Have you told the other people on the panel that story about the janitorial guy that's a YouTuber?
Oh yeah. I'll have to hit the well. Lady Mocha, go ahead and say what you're gonna say, and then I'll tell that story real quick. What are your thoughts, Lady Mocha? Because we're gonna start wrapping down.
No problem. No, I'm vibing with all of what you guys were saying up here. The problem is, we always think the grass is greener, And my thing is, I don't have a problem with a woman. If you want to, if as a black woman, if you want to swirl, that's your preference. That's fine. As a black man, if you want to swirl, that's your preference. That's fine. What I have a problem with is because you swirling, now you want to insult the black race. Okay, just because you have your white husband, don't go poisoning these other black women who could potentially be a great asset to another black man. Don't go tainting their views and their way of thinking by manipulating them with all of your sob stories and telling them, well, this is what I went through with black men, and black men ain't no good, and all black men are the same. No, all black men are not the same. You keep you keep going after the same black men. But the problem is the majority of these female commentators who have these channels, my problem is they're manipulating these younger black females and they're not telling them the whole truth. It's easy to sit up there and tell these black women that are these young black ladies that are coming up that all black men are no good. But my problem is, what have you done to attract these no good men to you? You're not telling them that,
Hey, Mocha, I had a business in Atlanta in 2000. I started it in 2008 and I stopped it in 2010, 2011. I used to go find successful black dudes, rent out of hotels. Most of the time it was rooftops. Rent out a hotel rooftop, invite women, sell tickets to these dudes who worked at CNN, doctors. I mean, I had top of the line dudes. Now, I can't say they was better or what, but as far as having their life together, these were some decent dudes looking for specifically black women. They wasn't looking there to just screw around. Boy, when I tell you, if I had a thought to videotape this stuff, I heard some of the most disrespectful stuff about the group I brought. This one ain't this enough. That one ain't that enough. And the arrogance. But I had this one white girl, Mocha, who came to this event. Oh, I had a good time, Q. I just met people and blah, blah, blah. And I wish more black ladies had that attitude of, I'm just shaking hands and kissing babies. I'm not necessarily, just because this guy over here is 6 foot, don't mean he's great. I saw this white woman talking to chubby dudes, scruffy dudes, feminine-like dudes, all type of dudes at that event. But that's the problem, is that many times women say they want this and want that. And then when you get in a one-on-one conversation with many of them, they can't articulate that. They can't at all. And that's a sad thing. Go ahead and finish your thought, Mocha. We're going to start wrapping down.
Hey,
definitely. Coming up next. Go ahead, Mocha.
Oh, yeah. The only thing I'm going to say about that is what happens is some women have programmed themselves mentally to deal with certain type of men. If you think about it, if a woman deals with thugs 9 times out of 10, that's all she's going to deal with.
Ooh,
if a woman deals with dope boys,
you need to do a video about that.
Oh, absolutely. If a female does with dope boys, she's going to stay in that lane because that's where she's gotten comfortable. You have to realize a woman cannot deal with a man that's on a very high intellectual level. It's a threat to her. It's foreign to her. A lot of that has to do with her upbringing, and a lot of that has to do with the type of environment she grew up in. If she grew up around thugs, if she grew up around dope boys, that's a hellified transition to go from a dope boy to a lawyer or an attorney. I mean, which is the same thing, or a man who owns their own business. So to women that are used to that setting, men of high status is foreign to them, because you got to realize dope boys don't expect nothing out of you but for you to know how to give good head, for you to know how to do all type of good positions in the bed. That's all you have to do to get the attention of a dope boy.
Hold on, Lady Mocha, because King said he disagrees. Why do you disagree?
I vehemently disagree, because I've worked with American black women. I'm raised by American black women. I've seen that they know how to code switch when it's necessary. So I can't agree with that, because
what's the point?
I've seen American black women who have come from different environments, gone to school with classic men, passed them over because they were black. But when they see the same traits in a white man or Asian man or Latino man, it's a positive. I think a lot of American black women that fit that kind of profile, It's just they have a view of a black male as a certain template. Their template is what Mocha did describe correctly, but for some reason, when they meet the white nerd or the white lawyer or something like that, oh, they can code switch when they go to work.
But I think she was saying,
yeah, I agree with that. But what I'm saying is, we're talking about the minority, not the majority. The majority of women who are accustomed to that ghetto life. Okay, there's going to always be exceptions to the rules. There's going to be some women that's going to branch out and come from up under the statistics. It's always exceptions to the rules. But what I'm stating is for the women in particular that keeps targeting thugs and dope boys, not the ones who have a different outlook on life. The ones who decided to, even if they grew up in that environment, that is because they have a different outlook on life. What about the sisters who don't have a different outlook on life? They're not going to resort to dealing with nerd guys or very intellectual guys because, again, they have been confined to their way of thinking. But for the black woman, such as myself, I could have fell into that statistics. I could have been on baby daddy number 3, number 4, number 5. I grew up around hood guys. I grew up around hood females. But I was fortunate to have a black mother that kept it real with me and didn't glamorize the struggle. A lot of these black women today, they don't have real black moms. They got black moms that's supporting the struggle. Go get your food stamps. Go for a black man that got money. So a lot of it does have to do with her upbringing. And if she was lucky and had another black woman to show her something different, then yeah, she's going to change her outlook.
Okay. Let's do this real quick, King. So let me give you this example. Pimple-faced black girl, very dark.
Mm-hmm.
No booty, just slim, probably 5'3", 115.
Yeah.
She ain't talking negative about black dudes. She kind of grew up with a daddy that she likes, kind of like what Mocha said, got some structure. And she comes around King.
Mm-hmm.
And next thing you know, there's a bunch of dudes calling her eight monkey bitch. Makes her cry. Who stops it?
Oh, someone like me, because I've always been a fan of the underdog. I'm an underdog. So for me, I've always been the guy that was kind of like the black sheep in my family. I come from a family of street people. You know what I'm saying?
Here's the question, because I'm a fellow nerd, and I'm glad you answered it that way. Yeah. Why is it when that same pimple-faced girl comes to the black nerd, why does that black nerd, kind of like using the opposite of what Lady Mocha's saying, why is that black nerd pretending to be a gangster from some 50 Cent album he heard? Why can't he not just be a black nerd running into a black girl and having a good nerd experience? Why does it have to be these dudes taking on these personas that are not really them? Like you said, if he's a black nerd, he should be open to another fellow black nerd, right?
Yeah, I would say there's some layers to it, because sometimes when we say the word nerd, it depends. Because I mean, most people, when they meet me, they wouldn't think I'm as bookish as I am when you actually see me the way I look, the way I am.
Not you, but other people. I'm talking.
Okay. So if you have a situation where you're really like a Steve Urkel kind of black man, and it's a girl that's like a female version of you, I think what you're dealing with is the fact that over the last 30 years in America, the black redneck culture and ratchetness and ghetto culture and the street people culture has been uplifted as the identity.
Okay, but see, here's the pushback, King. Wait, gotta stop you. Here's the pushback. I like what you were saying at first, and I'm taking Lady Mocha's argument and I'm remixing it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying you. I'm going to talk to the audience right now. The issue is we as black dudes, whatever our criticism is, have to stay consistent on that criticism. Because just like King said, well, it depends. It kind of sort of doesn't depend. I'm a nerd, but I just happen to be a very streetwise type of dude who's respected in my hood. But I'm still a nerd. When I run into goofy, nerdy chicks, for me, I talk to them just like I would a nerd talks to a nerd. And I only deal with smarty chicks. I've never really dealt with, matter of fact, Some chick told me that she worked at a cosmetologist. I said, "Nah, can't do it." You know, I don't care how cute she is. She doesn't fit my profile. I'm a streetwise dude who's a nerd. So
Right.
unless this woman has some nerd qualities, that I can't do it. So here's my cleanup question, and then I'm going to end. Let you get your final say, and then let Mocha get her final say, and then let Neridian get her final say. But here's my follow-up question. With all that said, isn't it the guy's responsibility to stay in his lane? If he's a nerd and this is a nerd, why the code switch, as you said?
Yeah, man. I see, the whole thing about it is that sometimes opposites attract, you know, and I can't overlook that fact that sometimes opposites attract. But I think maybe a more clearer question would be something in the realm of, if you're a nerdy guy like a Steve Urkel and you're not able to get the women that are the opposite of you, and you're complaining about those women, and there's a pool of nerdy female versions of yourself that are perfectly, you know, available for you, and they're interested in you, and you're passing up on them to worry about the pool of women that don't want you, that put you on the back burner. That's where I scratch my head at. So I kind of just look at it from a different angle, because I know there's a lot of guys who fit in that Steve Urkel kind of pool, or they're a non-select kind of dude, but their goal is to get the prettiest woman. And you should have goals. You should want the best that you can get. But if those women do not want you, that's what I don't understand. That's just really strange to me, because if you want the 8, 9, 10, but the 8, 9, 10 don't want you, and you're sitting here miserable, and you're in a boiling rage all the time, because you do have a supply of women that are like, what you're trying to say is that maybe those are the natural match to him. That's up for debate. But that is a very strange situation to me, because
that's just the sad thing with me that I see as black males. Everything is an excuse for us, and we keep moving the goalposts. If the goalpost is an obedient black chick, and these black chicks don't know how to be women or whatever, and you get one, but she happens to be very black and got pimples on her face, you should be able to lead this chick to some Noxzema. You should be able to lead this chick to some booty exercise. You should be able to lead this chick. And when you cannot lead this chick, when all you can do is complain about this chick, I just see that as a problem. Give me your last comments, and then we're going to move to Lady Mocha King, because I'm finna close out.
Yeah, just on that topic, I would just say that I do see that would be a problem if that's something that you're investing lots of energy in, and it's influencing other men to sit around complaining about things that they actually can fix themselves. I'm all about personal accountability. I'm always going to get the woman that I want, that wants me as much as I want her, and I always find beauty in the woman that finds beauty in me. So that's the only way I can respond that to you. I don't find a woman beautiful that doesn't find me beautiful. She may be attractive, but she's not beautiful to me unless she finds me beautiful. So I'm only looking for the woman that finds me beautiful, and I find her beautiful. So the guys that you're referring to, these are men who have expectations that, unfortunately, if it never is met, they will still be alone somewhere in a hole screaming about it, I imagine. But that's their problem, not mine.
All right. I'm going to invite Polite Men Against Polite Women show. I get out of YouTube jail this weekend, so I'm going to start doing my thing again. All right, King. I'll catch you on the next one. I'll send you the invite, brother.
All right,
Lady Mocha.
Right, good evening.
Lady Mocha, what is your thoughts on everything that was said?
Definitely, you guys. I definitely learned a lot from you men on the panel, and that's the thing about it. I'm glad that
it didn't hurt coming over here, huh?
No, it did not hurt coming over here. And actually, I'm one of the few women. But basically, you have to be one of those. You have to be the type of person you want to learn different things. You don't want to be stagnant in your way of thinking. And I believe the reason why a lot of black men and black women shy away from each other with YouTube is because, for instance, if I have a channel that's all about dogging black men, I'm not going to get on the panel where it's going to be some men that's going to call me out on it, you know, because again, I'm comfortable with my way of thinking. I don't want to be taught anything else. I don't want nobody to give me a different outlook. I don't want anybody to give me a different perspective. So some of us are comfortable in being ignorant. Some of us are comfortable and not having any knowledge. So I always try to strive for that. So whenever I have a man that wants me on his panel, and especially if he's polite and respectable, such as yourself, I'm always willing to embrace it, because this is what black men and women need to do. Instead of us abusing these platforms and dragging each other through the mud. And you got these black women who got panels all about dogging black men and encouraging sisters to swirl because she's a woman in pain and she's bitter about things in her personal life. And you also got men who got these men cave channels who want to talk reckless about all black women because he done had a few sisters who done ran game on them, pimped him out, or he bitter about his baby mama who got him paying child support or whatever the case is. He wants to taint and contaminate our brothers' way of thinking because of his own personal experiences. And my thing is, when we do these panels, we have a responsibility. When we do these channels, we have a responsibility. Don't manipulate, don't give people knowledge based off of your own personal negative experiences or your own personal prejudices. Whatever pain you went through in your life, whatever that black woman did to you, whatever that black man did to you, do some soul searching, get some spiritual healing. And at the end of the day, also connect with somebody that connects with you spiritually, not sexually, because sex wears out. But if you and that person have a spiritual connection, y'all definitely have longevity in y'all future.
You know what? You know what, Lady Mocha? I'm going to leave you with this thought. Have you noticed a lot of people cannot hold a conversation on a topic? And this is what I like about you. A lot of people can't hold a conversation on a topic. They can only talk about them and their personal experience because they never read about the topic. They never investigated the topic. But a lot of times they constantly want the microphone. And what I try to say to them, and I'm trying not to be arrogant, is that we're talking about a topic. We can't just be talking about your personal experience in Indiana, because your personal experience in Indiana isn't necessarily what goes on in Hawaii. And unless you're actually digging into the details, you don't know that. Now, the pushback I get, Lady Mocha, is, oh, man, I'm just trying to entertain people. But that's lying to people now. I mean, you telling somebody about your personal feelings and it's giving them a false narrative. Now, when they come over to Mr. Research, they like, well, so-and-so told me blah, blah, blah. Man, stop repeating that person's talking points, man. But I just want to say that to you. Sometimes people on YouTube, Lady Mocha, got to pay rent. And they use YouTube to actually pay a gas bill. And they willing to say anything and push out as many videos or hold 8 hours worth of talk time to talk about nothing just so they can get a $200 check in the mail. It's ridiculous. I tell people all the time, man, you do 10,000 views, you might get what is that, $60. It's ridiculous. It's totally ridiculous. What are your last thoughts? And then we're going to go to New Riddy and let him have the final say. What are your last thoughts?
Absolutely. My last thoughts is, first of all, I thank you for bringing me on your panel. Because again, I like to go to men panels because I like to learn from guys. I like to learn how y'all think about black women and y'all perspectives on us and everything. I actually enjoy hearing content like that. Believe it or not, all black women, all of us are not trying to be combative. Some sisters out there who actually want to learn, they actually want to grow. And I just wish more guys such as yourself would be willing to embrace black women and bring us on their show for the right cause, not to make a mockery out of us, not to embarrass us, or not because they got some pit bulls in the audience who they want to impress or whatever the case is. So again, I'm honored to be here and I look forward to doing a couple of more shows with you. And other than that, I enjoy your content. And yeah, everything has been pleasant.
Okay, we're going to do something on the weekend, Lady Mocha. I will check you later, lady.
Absolutely. Take care. You have a blessed one.
New Ridian, you have the mic. Yes. Tell me your thoughts. You have the floor, New Ridian.
My thought is, instead of us talking at each other, we should be talking to each other. Talk about,
how? Explain to me how.
I think that we should be talking about, yes, we may have had some bad experiences and all that good stuff, but we can grow from those bad experiences so that we won't have to repeat them. Go with the people that have positive influences. So that way, we won't have to have this discussion of, these sisters coming at us with kids and this and the third. We won't have to have these discussions about, brothers who got, umpteen baby.
Okay, let me do a little pushback, New Ridian. I've been on YouTube since 2007, man. I've had 8 channels.
Yeah.
Some dudes have a sexual turn on
just by
with
making
putting
fun of
down black women.
No.
And some women have a sexual turn on with putting down black dudes. And they really get excited when new people talk about how much they hate the other side. How can you fix that?
I mean,
because that's the reality, brother. There's people that make,
that's the reality. And
because there's people that make no logical sense on YouTube. And their whole thing is to just promote hate.
I think that we have to overcome that. I don't know how we do it. I mean, by communication, but sooner or later, you know, you got to come to the negotiating table and talk. And also, let's do the research on let's do the research. Stop.
No. I've been saying that for 5 years. Now I'm just being devil advocate here. I do agree with you. No, I've been saying that for 5 years. And what you got to understand, a lot of people don't like research. A lot of people don't like anything documented. I don't know how many times people come to my channel. Oh, you're supposed to be Mr. Research. Evidently, you didn't research it. And then I give them the actual link, and then they go away quiet in the night. They go away quiet in the night. They never come back. No, I was wrong. No, it's like, damn, I done said all this shit to Mr. Research, and I'm fucking wrong.
I think that they don't like to be wrong. I think they just like to be right and over talk people. I think that we have in this culture that that we gotta over talk each other and stuff like that. I'm like, no, let's hear each other out first before we start over talking. Let's hear each other out, and like you said, different experiences may give different results. But at the end of the day, just because you have a different experience in Hawaii doesn't mean that person has to have a different experience in Miami or something like that. So I'd like to take other people's thing and mesh it well and see what happens. You want to take the good with the bad. You want to see what works, what's good here, and leave what's bad out there. So that's what I come away from, like, listening to everybody and come away from this is that you know what, everything is different, but at the end of the day we can learn from our differences. Let's learn from this. Don't be stagnant. Let's learn from it and move on and try to make something better. Now, if they don't want to, then hey, that's them. Me, I'm all about learning and moving on.
Right. Well, my thing is, I found out that I have to distance myself from certain individuals because, you got people who I feel like this. If you grow on these YouTube channels, you're supposed to be doing something with all these quote unquote numbers.
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking financially, but just like I pointed out to Gab Media, you got people who got 1 million subscribers, but on their Patreon, their monthly people who give them monthly money, they barely got 1,500.
Right.
That's not a success story. That's a false thing. You put out a YouTube that gets 1,000 views. You probably, because this is around the standard, you get about $6 for every 1,000 views. It really comes down to watch time. It really doesn't come down to views, but I'm just rounding off. You get about $6. You do something 10,000 views, you get about $60. Look how much time you got to put in and commit, and versus what some of these people actually know in their mind to share. And I don't say this arrogantly. I say this as a statement of fact. There's not many of us who are really helping the community. We just saying shit.
Right.
So it's harder for us to talk with each other when you on the microphone, and let's say we on the panel, and here's a dude who's never even been to wherever, and he gonna say, I heard.
It's always I heard. How about I've been there and I saw it with my own eyes? I always hear, well, I've heard this, I heard that. I'm like, well, have you been? Have you seen it? Was it there? Did you learn about it? Did you? And then all of a sudden you get the humming. I'm I'm like, no, you didn't. You just hearing.
But in the meantime, 20 minutes of talk time has been wasted.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons I pulled away from Black YouTube, because it was just too much of that. It was too much of, and then when we finally get down to actually talking, who's ever hosting the show is, oh, well, I got to go. Well, damn, we done wasted like an hour and a half of BS.
For nothing.
Yeah, what we got to do, what we need to do, what we need to do. And my message is very simple. Put yourself in position so you can pull other Black sons into position.
That's true.
Put yourself in position. And then you know what I get told? Well, not everybody wants to be a manager. Well, what's the point of working? You should either own your own shit or supervise it. What's the purpose of having this dark skin if our only claim to fame is that I punched in? But if I say that, I'm talking down to people. This is what I'm told. So this is the confusion for me.
You're not,
because I tell people all the time. I'm gonna let you make this point. I tell the people all the time, I've had 40,000 subscribers before. I've had this and that before. That shit means nothing. I never even turned my AdSense on. But for some people, and I don't knock them for getting a check, but let's not pretend you about the community. If I come on here like Cynthia does, black men, black men, black men, black men, but I say nothing about the Women's March and how these white women tried to take over this Black women's movement. I say nothing about the Me Too woman who started the Me Too movement and how these white women took over her movement. The only thing I want to say is black men. Or if I'm over here, Tommy Sotomayor, I say nothing about my white stepfather, nothing about my personal experience with my white stepfather. I'm all talking about weaves. This is ridiculous. But go ahead, your point.
No, what I was saying is that that we really have to do a lot of communicating, and a lot of us don't like communicating. We don't even like to do like the research or anything like that, and that's pretty sad, because when you don't research, when you don't do some type of informal investigation, or you just do it and don't say, well, hey, maybe Wolf is right. I got to read more into this. We just go off our feelings, and that's not what you want. That's not what you should be striving for. If you're an intelligent, you want to learn more. You don't want to learn less, because the less facts you have, that's how people make informed decisions, and that's what gets them messed up. Especially if you're flipping houses. If you're in a very, very bad neighborhood buying houses and flipping them and selling them, you got to look at the area where you are. And not only look at the area where you are, you got to look at the people that you're around. If you are trying to flip houses in a subpar neighborhood and stuff like that, and people just breaking in, it's almost like you're wasting your time and your money, almost. So you have to do a lot of investigating. You got to do a lot of things, and that's what we're bad at.
Right.
We hate investigating. I love it.
Real quick, I'm sorry to cut you.
No problem.
Red Scorio said, men are just speaking the truth about how females are operating these days. Dude, we've been speaking the truth since the 1700s. Bachelors have been telling you guys this for years. In 1920, 1910, Bachelors had a newspaper that circulated. Bachelor's newspaper coming out of Arizona. The only thing MGTOW did was copy everything we Bachelors did. Even the don't get married and go against the system. That's a Bachelor thing. And we've been telling y'all this. So it isn't that dudes have not been telling you this for years. Hugh Hefner created the Playboy lifestyle to tell you didn't have to do that stuff. So trying to say that, this passion, this red pill rage for you shouldn't have red pill rage for more than 6 months. Red pill rage should move over, and you should do like Noridian and get you a company. Start working on driving trucks. This other thing that someone said about Irene saw a video that we did, and she made that video. The Women's March the problem with the Women's March has been going on for 3 weeks. So if Irene just made a video today, she is very, very late. The thing about Tommy, you didn't know Tommy's background. Tommy claims to be half Panamanian. We never saw his father, but his mother is a pastor in Georgia, a little small church in Georgia. And when I ran into Tommy back in 2007, 2008, on Blog Talk, before he even came to YouTube, Tommy had a white stepfather. His mother took a loving picture with this guy. That's how I know. So this is the type of stuff I say that we got to get away from. Even if men are telling the truth about these chicks, tell the truth about buying your son a house. Tell the truth about how you bought your second piece of property. My parents have had their property for half a century. That is uncommon for a black man. So not only do I have to deal with my property, I have to deal with my legacy. I don't have time to talk about no damn chicks. I might go get a mail order bride. Here, sign this prenup. If we divorce, you get X amount of dollars. And I mean, I just don't have time. I don't see how men have time to talk about your pain like that. Focus on something else. That's the only thing I'm trying to say. What are your final thoughts, Neridian? Because I got to get up out of here.
Well, my final thought is, you know what? The reason why a lot of are saying what we're saying as far as like with the system and all that good stuff, while we're being obstinate about getting remarried or anything like that, because we've been there before and we don't want to end up losing everything that we worked hard for again. So that's the reason why a lot of my friends ask me, well, why aren't you going to get remarried? I'm like, why? No, I'm not doing it. And they would tell me, well, this is the benefit of this. I'm like, well, okay. What is in it for the guy? What's in it for him after he loses everything? He lost his life. Why do you got to think like that? I'm like, it could happen to you. And a lot of times I look at them and I'm like, wait, it did happen to you. Didn't you tell me about this? And that's why X, Y, Z, and this and the third.
Marriage is an investment. You need to approach it like Boaz from the Bible.
Like an investment.
I only marry this woman so she can take care of my affairs while I'm away trying to get more money. That's the only purpose.
And right now, a lot of these guys, a lot of MGTOW guys, what they're saying is that, you know what, don't get into the system of the thing. Just look out for yourself. Don't swear off women like that. You know, just have a roll in the hay. Or if you feel like that, don't worry about it. But I could see a little bit more of what they were saying, like as far as like being accused of certain aspects, like sexual harassment, rape, and all that good stuff. That's where I'm like, I can agree with that, because I was accused of sexual harassment at my other job before, and just the accusation alone can destroy you, not the investigation.
Yeah, but see, the problem with that is that's a MRA thing.
Yeah.
MGTOW don't believe in what MRA does. That's why MGTOWs broke away from MRA. And see, what I tried to tell MGTOW years ago, back in 98, MGTOW is not going to protect you from an MRA problem.
No.
That's why it doesn't make sense to break away from the guys who are trying to battle the laws, because at the end of the day, if the laws are the problem, nothing MGTOW can do can stop that. You still have to come back to the MRAs and say, help us fight legally, because these white men are creating laws for these women to destroy us.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. MGTOW can't protect you from a chick 5 years ago saying Neridian raped me. Nothing MGTOW can do for that.
And it cannot.
Yeah, it's not true. But MGTOW can't protect you. The only people who can protect you are MRAs.
Yeah, especially if they're the ones fighting for laws to be changed.
Yeah, I mean, we just got a law completed in Illinois.
Wow.
Yeah, and this is why I say, this whole thing, and I only say this for the advancement of dudes. Don't fall in love with attacking these chicks, because what MGTOW has turned into is a male feminist group. is turned into seeking out women to attack.
No.
At least it more stays in their own lane. It more stays in their own lane. But you got a lot of stuff going in MIG, and people like, like I've lost a lot of subscribers behind the fact that I'm anti-MIG. I'm like, MIG is ridiculous to me because there's too much anger and there's too much excuse for anger. You gotta look at it, just what's going to make you powerful. Are you going to use the bachelor idea of stay out the system and don't get married? Great. That's a great bachelor idea. Use it. A lot of dudes didn't even know that bachelor started all that stuff. They thought MGTOW did. And that's what I mean by not researching and not knowing and what have you. I just don't want dudes to walk around angry because I feel like that's dangerous for black men, because 10 years later, you may find yourself up underneath a bridge.
That's true.
Because you sat up all this time thinking, oh, I could be protected. And then you got a case, but you don't have the $10,000 to fight it. Now you caught up, 8 years done passed, and look where you at. Now you hate women even more. But part of the problem was you wasn't prepared.
It's that anger builds up. That anger builds up. And
but part of the problem was you wasn't prepared. You didn't do what New Iridian did. You didn't do what Zoe did. You wasn't trying to protect yourself.
And we're bad, and especially as black people, we hate researching stuff, and that's a bad sign. That's a bad sign.
But that's why I created the Wolf Lifestyle, because I told people, hey, rule number 1: control your mouth. Yeah. Stop letting everybody know what goes on in your brain. Rule number 2: have a lawyer on deck, or at least have $5,000 in the bank in case you run into a problem. This stuff will protect you. Rule number 3: don't let your kids be used against you.
Yeah.
Which goes back to rule number 2. But the problem is MGTOW doesn't have rules. Itmore doesn't have rules. And people just make up their own shit, and then you're not protected. Then you're not looking at, wait a minute, I got with this chick thinking that I was going to pump and dump her, and now I'm in the middle of a rape case that I never did.
Or you got a kid by her, and now you're paying child support.
There you go. And you got a kid behind her by her because you didn't want to spend $200 for this Egyptian prostitute that was online. You didn't want to spend $300 for this big titty white girl from England. You wanted to save money and get sex from this chick for free. Now you got 18 years of problems.
Actually, now in New York State, it's 21 now.
It's what?
It's 21.
Well, it's technically, New York. I don't know about New York.
Man. Ooh, man.
I don't know about New York. But here's my point. Here's my point. Why is the prostitute not valuable then? Why, if the whole point is to pump and dump, go to your boss and say, hey, I want to work some overtime this week. Because you got this little white chick with the big booty who likes anal, and you want to pay her $200 for 2 hours of fun. But instead of doing that, dudes go out here where they can get caught up in the case. Go ahead.
and they're doing it on the cheap.
Yeah. And now you in a case.
It's gonna cost you.
I said this to BGS in 2015. Him and his crew laughed. Now look at them. Making videos as if they knew all along. I said this to me and O'Shea had this conversation back in 2015. I said these chicks are going to put together something legally to screw y'all. Y'all can't be out here unprotected. They know you don't have lawyer money. They know you. These white women. I'm sorry, I'm hogging up the mic. I need to let you speak. I apologize.
No problem. I think that at the end of the day, you have to protect yourself. And I understand that, you don't want to. You want to do things on the cheap. You can't. Not in this day and age. Because in this day and age, everything is turned against you. And as black men, we're doubly targeted. So the best thing to do is protect yourself, do your research, learn your local laws, learn what you have to learn that they can be used against you, and then use it back against them.
Yeah.
You have to look at life as chess, not checkers. You got to react. You gotta prevent things from happening. You can't just react after the fact. But that's how
And,
a lot of these guys get screwed up.
and I'm gonna bow out, you guys, but I'm gonna leave you with this last story about one of my Wolf students.
Well,
One
I'm
of
getting
my
ready to go.
Wolf
So,
students.
hey, Wolf, I gotta go. But thanks for the
Okay.
conversation.
No problem.
Thank you.
Catch you on the next one. One of my Wolf students, he had a court case with his kid. And him and his baby mom was getting along cool until the baby mom decided to go left. Again, all women go left. Asian women, Filipino women, Hawaiian women, white women, all women go left because they know they can. The only women who don't go left is the women who know that this guy is protected and it's going to be a legal fight. She don't want to go through that. But if she knows that he's not protected, she's going to go left. So him and the baby mom is getting along. He go do his thing. He's with another woman now. He got a kid, all this type of thing. The woman decides to go left. And he says, why is this happening to me, Q? I said, because the dude you used to be decided that 50-50 was going to protect him. 50-50 will never protect you. 50-50 will never protect black men. 50-50 is not a good thing to teach black sons. There is no such thing as 100-100. There is no such thing as 50-50. Stop thinking that 50-50 will protect you. You will only get mad. No, Angry Man is not the person who started that. I said this way before Angry Man even thought about it. Angry Man has heard a bunch of my videos, dude. So please, don't say Angry Man standard. Dude wasn't even talking like this back then. He was talking against chicks, so it's totally different. Anyway, my point is 50-50 will not help you. 50-50 will not support you. It won't. I've been saying this stuff since back in the day with manhood lessons. You guys got part of the reasons why you're ticked off at these chicks is because you've been told by these dudes that 50-50 is okay. And now these dudes want to change their stripes years later after they realize that don't work. So the end of this video is simply this. A lot of YouTubers are telling you lies. I want to help you. I want you to defeat supremacy, and I want you to defeat the chick that's against you. In order to do that, you got to have real lawyer power. In order to do that, you got to have your money ready and right. Even when you go into the grocery store and the cop pulls you over because of your plates, you need to have the confidence. Hey, here's my lawyer's card, man. And I'm finna turn this cell phone video on so I record everything that's happening. Well, and the lawyer and the cops gonna say, well, don't record me. Bruh, my lawyer told me I had to. So go ahead, write me a ticket, whatever you're gonna do. When you got that type of power, they have no choice but to say, wait a minute, this is a different type of black man I'm fucking with. This is a black man that can have my ass in court. I need to write this dude a ticket and tell him to move along his way. Cop stopped me about 3 months ago. And I said, dude, why are you stopping me? And the dude in front of me don't even have no plates. He said, oh, I didn't see it. I said, you looking right now. Why don't you go get him? He said, oh, well, your tail light. Okay, thank you, bro. I said, let me put my recorder on, just in case I need to put this in the court case. That dude handed me my shit, no ticket, because he knew. Had evidence already. You got a thing, you got a dude in front of us, and you pulling me over for a light, and this nigga don't even have a plate. You better recognize your priorities. My point in saying this, man, is make sure you guys have power. Because if you don't have power and you just be entertained, you're going to wake up and one of these Pakistani dudes is going to have a dick in your ass. Seriously. You're going to be like, why the fuck? The law's going to change and you now his slave. You guys got to understand, this is not a joke once you start talking global. Once you start talking global, you need to start paying attention and giving yourself a power test every 4 months. How powerful am I? Can I make moves? And we ain't talking just money. So that's my suggestion, man. I ain't trying to talk down to nobody. I'm just trying to help you because, like I was saying with me and MOT, a lot of us have made it. A lot of us are doing okay and doing well. But there's a lot of dudes that are not. And I'm just trying to help. All right, deuce out. Catch you on the next one, you guys. And this weekend, we're going to crank up the men versus women. And we'll get that rocking and rolling. And we'll have some great topics on the polite level. Peace.